Picture this, Austria 2000, the year 2000. My friend Barbara, my oldest and dearest friend from college, and her husband and 2 children are living in Austria. They were there for a couple of years, bought me a ticket to celebrate my birthday, only to find out that they were coming back for 2 weeks to New York so the kids could have their annual physical and take a test to go back into the New York school system. Well, when they came home and they had their physical, Marie, Isabella, their daughter, the doctor saw something that wasn't right, and he was very, very concerned, sent her over to Sloan Kettering, and that's where they discovered that she had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma. So their plans changed. They moved back immediately from Austria, and Marie started her treatments. It was the night before Halloween when they discovered that she had Hodgkin's lymphoma. And she and her brother were busy creating costumes, and they were planning their trick-or-treating destinations, but that didn't happen that year for Marie. Instead, she was at Sloan Kettering having a port input, and she, made out like a bandit anyway at Sloan Kettering because they give candy to everyone. They have the biggest toy closet in the world. I've never seen such stuff. I was excited. I wanted to stay all the time there with her. They have bingo nights and casino nights, and I do love a casino. Anyway, they start her chemo treatments, and it's around Christmas time. And they called the family in for a psych evaluation. And they talked about, how are things at home? What's going on with Marie? Are you handling the cancer thing okay? Yada, yada, yada. And then the psychologist said to Marie, Marie, do you ever get angry with God? And Marie stood up, slapped the table, leaned into that therapist and said, now why would I be angry with God? I'm angry with the doctors because I wasn't sick until they said I was. Marie was 10 years old when she said this, wise beyond her years. She was in control of her medication and her health care from the very beginning. She had a few hospitalizations, and one night the nurse came in to give her meds. And she asked the nurse, what are you giving me? And the nurse told her, these are the meds. And she said, I believe I had one of those earlier. Are you sure, Marie? Please check my chart. And the nurse looked at her chart and said, yeah, you did. I apologize. So Marie was right on cue. She wasn't letting anybody tell her how to handle her body. So now it's Christmas time, and I'm visiting the family. And let me backtrack a bit, because when we found out that Marie had cancer, our other best friend from our college days, Susan Fitzpatrick McShane, we all assembled at the McGrory house and wondering how are we going to handle this and what do they need, and oh my God, how are we going to get through the next year with this? Marie quietly came over to us and said, can you do me a favor? Can you not say the C word in front of my brother? I want to tell him. I don't want him to be afraid. I said, okay. So she livened up the atmosphere by playing dress up, and she dressed her brother in all kinds of gear, and she dressed us up in clown noses and feather boas and clown shoes and funny glasses. And then Susan remembered she needed to put money in the meter. So I said, we'll all go out and we'll put the money in the meter. Her car was parked on Broadway. No one's going to recognize us. They wouldn't care. So there we go, and Marie's laughing and not believing what we're doing. She says, I don't believe you're going to do this. We sang up and down Broadway. We had our moment in the light. We laughed so hard that we cried. And the next day, when Marie had her first chemo treatment, all she could talk about with the nurses was how crazy her mother's friends are. And we still are a bit crazy. Okay, now we're in Christmas mode, and I'm at the house, and I'm sitting across from Marie. And as she's putting her hands through her hair, clumps of hair in her hands, and I looked at her and said, Marie, how are you? How do you feel about this? And she looked at the hair and said, it's weird, and it's cool, and it doesn't hurt. And the good news is, Aunt Nancy, I'm not going to have head lice this year. That's my Marie. Marie is my hero. She spent some time in the hospital, had a wonderful roommate by the name of Mary Billington. Mary was 13 years old, had childhood cancer when she was a baby, and had an eye patch throughout her life. They lost touch, but later on they met up again in the Metro in DC. The Make-A-Wish Foundation sent her and her family to California to meet Robin Williams. He was so taken by this family that he asked his secretary to cancel all his appointments for that day. And instead of spending an hour with them, he spent 3 hours with them. And over the course of the years, Marie would always run into him while he was filming movies in Manhattan. Now we fast forward to Valentine's Day, 2001. And Marie never complained about anything. She just was strong and brave and resilient and control of her own mind, body, and spirit. She said, you know, I don't like wearing wigs anymore, Mom. Can you do me a favor? She said, I want you to put on the brightest red lipstick, and I want you to kiss my bald head. And her mother said, of course, kissed her head and put little stickers on her head as well. And off she went to school, bald, proud, and very much loved. Marie never complained about all the endless treatments that she received. Now we're going to fast forward to today. Marie is 28 years old. She graduated George Washington University. And guess who was the guest speaker at George Washington University, her first parents' weekend? Robin Williams. And so Barbara being Barbara, I'm not saying that she's pushing, but she's Barbara, and she made sure that she got to go backstage and see Robin Williams, and he always made time to speak with them. And so here we are now. Marie was an intern at the White House in the photo department during President Obama's presidency. Yay! And she worked for NPR and the Federal Reserve, and now she works for National Geographic. She climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. She scuba dived in the Great Barrier Reef. She's been on every continent except Antarctica, but I think that's on her short list. Marie is my hero because she never complained, never thought about herself, always thought about others. She had tenacity. She had this quiet strength and determination in life. And she's doing so well. About 3 months ago, it was Mary Billington's birthday. And I said before that Mary wore an eye patch. And Marie threw Mary a birthday party, and everyone wore eye patches. It was great fun, and Mary loved it. A few weeks after that, Mary passed away. She was in training for the New York City Marathon. Well, Mary can't be there, but Marie is going to be there. And this November, Marie will be running in the New York City Marathon. She's done triathlons. Her parents are very active. You know that saying, the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree? Her mother, Barbara, Kenny, they laid the foundation for their children. They volunteer at Ronald McDonald House. They have a group that they work with children with needs, special needs. We deliver. They bring food to the homeless and to homebound people. And Kenny is on the board of directors for the Lymphoma and Leukemia Society. Mary said, after one of their runs, while they were practicing for the marathon, she said, you know, we are resilient. This is what resilience looks like. 10% of we're 10% of what happened to us, but 90% of how we handle it. It's not an original Mary quote, but she liked using that. And so in honor of Mary and in honor of her spirit and determination, and they also volunteered their time and dedicated their energies, not only in helping people. Marie loves people, and she loves the world, and she loves our future, and she wants a brighter future for everyone, especially children with childhood cancers and adults with childhood who are now experiencing setbacks because of insurance. She was recently interviewed by Atlantic magazine and talking about children with childhood cancers. She also has a blog, Survivors Around You, for adults with childhood who survived childhood cancer. And I am dedicating this to Marie. She is my hero for how she handled herself with great tenacity, quiet determination, and a zest for love and life. Thank you.